What's up, guys? Here are 5 different delt exercises that I think you should consider adding into your program. Now, I've been lifting weights for 33 years, right? I started when I was 15, I'm 48. I didn't think it was possible to add size to my delts, but I have in the past year, and a lot of the growth I attribute to the exercises I'm about to show you. But I do want to point out, 10 years ago, if I wanted my delts to grow, I would hit military press harder. I'd try to use progressive overload for shoulder press, upright rows. I try to focus on the big movements, close grip bench, rows, military, upright rows. And this past year, I didn't do any of that. I've not done much overhead press at all. I have not done nearly as many rows, but what I have done is trained delts every 3rd or 4th day with more volume, but I didn't go for PRs. I wasn't trying to hit progressive overload with lateral raises all the time. I did that in the past with dumbbells. I had worked my way up to 40-pound dumbbells for 20 reps, 50-pounders for 10 with a lot of heaving, a lot of body English. I didn't use as much dumbbells this year. I used cables. I did a lot of lengthened partials. I do at least 1 front delt, 1 side delt, and 1 rear delt movement. Then I'd add in a band finisher or like the seated lateral raise machine. I do about 10 total sets and call it a day. But I was doing 2 delt days a week. And what I will tell you is doing a lot of these lengthened partials and the cable rear delt rows, the band stuff I'm about to show you, it doesn't beat you up much. You're not fatigued from it. So if you want to grow your delts, do what I've done. Try these exercises, see if you like them, see if they work for you. But also try to train your delts twice a week with around 8 to 12 sets, because you do get front delt volume with every compound upper body press you do. You get rear delt stimulus from every compound upper body pull you do. So you don't want to go too crazy with the volume, but you also want to choose joint-friendly movement. If I was just doing a ton of lateral raises, they might irritate me, but by mixing it up, sometimes doing dumbbells, sometimes cables, sometimes bands, sometimes lengthened partials, you can tolerate more, and it just distributes the joint stress so you don't get injuries, you don't get any nagging pain, and the end result is just pure delt growth. So give these a try. I think you're gonna like them. All right, first up we have the cable lengthened front raise. So ideally with the delt fibers, you wouldn't just be doing pure front raise. You might incorporate like some angular motion in there to match the fibers. You also want the resistance to be perpendicular at the bottom. So ideally you'd max out torque and stretch at the bottom. So when you're in a deep stretch, you also want torque to be maximized in that position. So that's why I set this up accordingly. So I got all right. So I'm not gonna lean forward, I'm gonna lean up, because from here, I want there to be a lot of torque in this starting position, and I want to go back into a deep stretch. So from here, come up and in. Interestingly, you'll feel this in the biceps as well, because it is under a lot of stretch tension throughout the movement. So all I've done is the cable lengthened front raise. You can see they're pumped, but my middle and rear delts are not pumped. So same, but front delts pumped up. All right, now this is a cable side delt lengthened partial. So you can do it actually behind the back like this, and you can also do it in front. I kind of like doing it in front more. This is my preferred, but I do recommend you try both ways. But you don't come up all the way, and you want this roughly perpendicular but you're not straight to the side. You're not like this. You're actually facing forward a little bit, okay? So it kind of comes across you, and then it's just from here. So yeah, just from that set, see my side delts getting pumped. Now you see the middle delts popping out. Front delts were already popping out. Now you see the middle delts. So this is set up at roughly hip height. And again, you're not going straight out to the side this way. You're turning a little bit. So step forward, take the tension off, and from here, you can feel tension stretching you right here from the get-go. You can go lighter and do a full range of motion, but I like going heavier. So, roughly hip height, or like roughly hand height, which is gonna be in the stretch. So it's like you see here, you want this cable pretty horizontal right here, if you're doing it right. Turn. So now I just did the side delt exercise, the cable side delt lengthened partial, and now you can see my middle delt's more pumped, right? They're popping out more. Still my rear delt's not pumped, but side delts are fuller. All right, and now we have the cable rear delt row. Now, I've been doing this a lot over the past year. This has been my #1 main rear delt movement, and they have grown. But you're gonna be amazed at how much these pump up my rear delts. Like right now, not pumped. After I do a set of these, they look pregnant. It looks like I have synthol pumped into them. It's insane. And if an exercise works you in the lengthened position and gives you a pump, it's gotta be good for muscle growth. These stretch the rear delts, but you're just doing a row so you can go heavier. You're not coming straight out, you're doing a row. It's amazing. I really hope that many of you can try this exercise out because it's truly been, I hate the term game changer, but this has really been beneficial for me over the past year. I also hate training delts one arm at a time. I hate all single arm movements, single leg movements. I just like bilateral. This lets me hit the rear delts at the same time. Here it goes. So full stretch. Whew. So, one set. Yeah, start to see that rear delt pump just from one set. So I do 3 sets, it's gonna be even more pronounced. Just finished the cable rear delt row. Are they more pumped? From behind, are they popping out? Obviously I can't see. All I know is that this exercise has single-handedly added mass to my rear delts. And I'm 48 years old. I've been lifting since I was 15. So after 33 years of training, if you can still see gains, you gotta be doing something right. All right, now we've got the banded lateral raise. You need 2 monster mini bands. These are the 41-inch bands. They're usually red or pink. You loop one around, this is a hack squat machine. You're gonna have something similar at your gym. One around the other peg. Now from here, I'm gonna crisscross. I'm gonna hook these right around the wrist, okay? Now from here, I'm gonna lean back just slightly. What I wanna do is create the most tension at the top. So everything's about the stretch these days. Well, what about the lockout position? What about the short muscle position? So from here, bend the elbows. Whew, that burns good. But these, I feel like, when you have an exercise that doesn't work you as much in the stretch, it works you in the squeeze, it does not create muscle damage. It doesn't create as much fatigue. So it's just penalty-free volume. You can throw this in a couple sets at the end of your workout and it's not gonna fatigue you. It's just icing on the cake, in my opinion. An added benefit, you can see my traps can get a pump from these too. I don't even do shrugs anymore. My traps stay pretty big from deadlifts and different delt raises. What I like about this is you can kind of back up and move forward to make it easier. Lighter, you can make it kind of like a natural drop set kind of. So you can start out further.
These are the 3 stances I recommend when doing the banded lateral raise.
And this one I've been doing for, I think, maybe 16 years. This I call the band face pull apart, or the band face pull apart. You're kind of combining a face pull and a pull apart. So just loop it through anything sturdy, and then you're gonna walk back. Now, sometimes you're gonna take too wide of a grip. You gotta work with it. It's gotta be just the right grip width. And I've gotten really strong at these. And what you're gonna do is, you don't just do a face pull, you're also gonna pull apart as you do it. So it looks like this. Now, I measured the EMG activity of this exercise, and I was amazed at how high it got the rear delts, but also the side delts. And it didn't make sense to me at the time. This was like 2010. And then as I thought about it, you can see from the rear view, at the lockout, you are working the middle delts very hard as well. So I never start the workout out with these. These are always a finisher. But I do think it's wise to toss these band exercises in from time to time because I don't think they fatigue you much. They don't create any muscle damage. It can only help. As long as you don't overdo it on volume and you're trying to train delts every day, which no one does, then it can only help.